having one great piece to this puzzle does not solve, and we'll relate this all back to Green Bay. Having one great piece to this thing doesn't solve Green Bay's issues, right? So if Goody goes out, we'll just say goes out and gets one great defensive end. Say it's Myles Garrett, say it's Crosby, I don't care, whatever, right? Does that solve all of Green Bay's problems? My answer is no. Does it help? Sure, absolutely. You go out and get a stud DN, it certainly helps a lot of things. But does it solve all things? Or do you go in the route of getting multiple guys, strengthening multiple things with the cap space that you have? Maybe not these high end guys that a lot of people want to see, but you go get these mid-tier, mid-level type players that play important roles within a team and strengthen a bunch of different departments of the team to bolster the team. And I think that's kind of what he's getting at. Because if you look at Kansas City, and they're a great example. Kansas City's been living on the edge with that offensive line for a long time. Ever since, and for me personally, ever since they got rid of Mitch Schwartz, a great right tackle, right? He got hurt, his back got hurt, and then he left the team. He was a fantastic right tackle for the Chiefs when they won their first Super Bowl. When he left, they never replaced him properly. And then they had Fisher, the left tackle, he had his issues, but he was solid and serviceable. They never replaced their two tackles. They never did it. They only strengthened the interior. And when you do that, I'm not ragging on guards here because I think they're very important. I played next to two amazing ones and even a bunch of them, Billy Turner, but TJ and Sitton, amazing. But if you don't have tackles that can block these defensive ends, you are in a world of trouble. And we saw it from Kansas City. So, it goes back to you got to strengthen multiple positions when you have an opportunity. And I think that's kind of what, Frank's trying to get at. And that's
all right, we
what
got
Green
Judge
Bay has.
Frank back.
Okay.
Yeah,
good.
That's why he's the doctor of football. Nailed it. Yes, rather than one superstar free agent, I'd rather have three, maybe the notch below that. You end up with a better team. You might not have as exciting guy that you added, but it's all about winning. You win as a team.
Then my question for both of you, I think the Packers have a number of players at that level.
Here's my question.
You never have too many.
All right, well, okay, but...
Here's my thing. Here's my thing with that, too. You may have guys that are at that level, but they're young right now, is my thing. A lot of them are young and haven't really developed into that solid core type player that understands their role where they should be. A lot of them are very young still. And that's been the knock on the team, right? They're young. And some of us praise the young in that they don't know any better. They just go out and play, and that's good. There is some negative to that, and that's part of it. They all want to be superstars, and they all want this, which is great. Shooting for the stars is fantastic. But sometimes you got to come to a realization that you got a role to play. And sometimes you go get these veteran type players that understand their role. They come in, they fit their role, and they do it to the best of their ability. And I think that's where I'm kind of at with it. And if you can bring in veteran type guys, and I'm not talking 10-year guys, we're talking free agent guys, right in their 5th year, 6th year, that are young enough. They come in, they plug in, they know what their role is. They're not making the $30 million a year, but they understand they could do it at a high level and even get better. I think that's where Frank's coming at, and that's kind of where I'm at too. You improve multiple spots, and you're kind of still saving some cash on the back end.
Has he got you right, Frank?
Exactly.
All right.
You got me right. And we saw it in the Super Bowl. I still say, Mahomes can't carry the whole load. You got to have people around him.
All right.
Dan Marino.
Thanks, Judge.
Okay.
Judge Frank first, and now we have Jake in Milwaukee. Your question for the doctor of football, Bryan Bulaga. Let her fly, Jake.
All right, Brian, just quick question for you. With the Packers and the draft, of course, being Green Bay, do you think the Packers are going to go more offense or defense in the draft? Do you think they're going to get offensive linemen or get defensive ends, like you said? What direction do you think they're going?
Ooh, that's a good question. The defensive line they've invested so heavy in with picks over how many years now? I think if we go back, they've invested in first-round picks on the D-line probably. Homer, you may know the stats better than I do, but it's had to be over the last, five guys over the last
year
how
it was
many
Jordan
years?
Morgan, offensive lineman. Before that, Lucas Van Ness.
And, yep. And then Wyatt and
before that, it was Walker.
Yep.
And Wyatt. The year before that was Eric Stokes. The year before that was Jordan Love. So,
and then before that was the
Rashawn Gary.
Rashawn Gary.
And before that, it was Jair.
Okay, so they've gone defense in the first round along. I offensively, I don't know if they're going to invest a first round pick on the offensive line.
I bet if there's a cornerback, they're taking a cornerback. That's
yes. If there's a first round corner, I think they go corner. If there's a guy that they like, it just depends on who's available. I don't think they go receiver. I don't think they go offensive line. I think it's if there's an absolute, stud D end, another one. If he's an absolute steal, they may go there. I don't think so, but I think it's corner all day if he's there. But that's where I see it. Otherwise, I can see them packaging it, trading out, and getting even more, and just continuing to load. If there's nobody there, and I get that's boring. It's in Green Bay. You want to have a first pick. I understand, but what their need is right now is, I think, multiple things. So to just take a D lineman, is not, I don't know, not a good thing. And then we'll see what free agency gives us, right? We'll see as free agency starts to happen, what do we get from free agency? Then we'll have a better idea what they could really address in the draft, right? If they pick up another offensive lineman, or if they pick up a corner, or they pick up someone in free agency, well, then you can attack the hell out of a certain position in the draft and just get it, right? And that makes things very clear where you're going in the first round in the draft, and that opens up, a very easy option for you and where you want to go, and then you can trade up and be aggressive or do whatever you want to do. But I think it's going to be, if I'm picking right now, I'm with Homer. I think it's a corner if it's me.
1-800-990-3776. Sean is waiting. Room for more. You got to have questions if you say you care about the Green Bay Packers.